Good evening, everyone. I am Mark, your fat friend,
And I'm James, your black friend,
and this is the Fat and Black Connection.
where we talk about anything and everything as long as it's interesting to us.
Absolutely, because if it is interesting to us, it shouldn't matter to you.
That's correct.
So it is May 22nd, 2024. This is a live and interactive broadcast, which means it is 8:02 p.m. on the Pacific left coast, west coast. Nothing but the best coast. And James, been another week. Do anything fun?
I worked some overtime yesterday. That wasn't really fun,
Nice.
but it was overtime. It was nice. Actually, it wasn't too bad. Worked a few.
What is some overtime? Because you generally work a 10-hour day.
Yeah, so I basically just worked 2 hours less. So I just did I did 8 hours of overtime yesterday.
Oh, so you that's right, because you're usually off on Tuesdays.
Yeah, so there was they had, a bunch of OT because EDC was this past week.
Which is what, for those not
Oh,
in the
for
know?
those that don't know, it's the Electric Daisy Carnival. It is it's a really big, I guess, is it rave? I guess, I don't know. It's an electronic music festival. That's the best. I guess that's a better way to do it. And that's out at the Las Vegas Speedway.
An EMF?
Huh? Oh yeah, maybe. We can make that drink. We'll work on that. But yeah, so they had that this past week. So they had a bunch of overtime, especially with everybody leaving out. People were leaving. It ended Sunday, or some people left Sunday, but it basically ended early Monday morning.
Mhm.
And then Tuesday was kind of the last of the people leaving out. So
Gotcha.
we had some overtime out there. So I was able to pick some up. And so I did 2 4-hour shifts just back to back. So
Nice.
yeah.
So tonight we have some special guests that'll be joining us in just a little while when we do
Yeah.
our podcast inside of a podcast, our Inception show, if you will, Oak Bridge After Dark. We'll have Justin Clouser with us, as well as Mr. Brian Murphy.
Brian.
Both of which fantastic gentlemen to work with. I'm sure you had a lot of fun directing them.
Yeah.
I know I got to direct Brian when we did Captain Fearless and the Time Traveling Nazis of Doom.
Yes.
And he played a fantastic role there. And of course, worked with Justin on prior production where he was the
lead.
He was the big role.
Yeah.
Like he was the Murphy of Murphy's Inc. Then again, Murphy isn't really the biggest.
Murphy's not really Murphy anymore. So
I see you're peeling an orange there.
yeah, actually, it's funny. This is actually not even. This is just a very large It's just a very large tangerine.
Oh,
Like I was like, oh, I had some a while back and they were like super tiny. And then I went to Sam's Club but last week. And
mhm.
so these were, they weren't really on sale, but they were cheap. So I was like, let me get 2 bags, and they were good size oranges or
Wow.
tangerine things. So yeah.
So we've got KaboomCon coming up in just a few months, September
Yeah.
7th, 2024. This thing's going to be huge. We have got over 50 vendors, artists, and retail. We've got almost a dozen food and beverage vendors coming. Tickets are only $10. If you haven't gotten them, don't wait.
$10.
Don't wait.
Because they might not be at the door, bro.
Yeah, there's going to be cosplay contests, art contests. There's going to be what else we got going on? We got the Reno Video Game Symphony, who are going to come and play a live set. We've got the 550 seat theater there at the community center, so they're going to have the whole stage. They're going to put on a show. We've got a live broadcast by Pop Culture Kaboom.
Yep.
They're going to be in the house. We've got a Icy Sound Comics panel where a lot of stuff is going to get unveiled and announced, and we'll have a Murphy's Inc. panel. That'll be a lot of fun.
You want to be there for all of it.
Yes, and of course that night after Kaboom Con
is Kaboom Crawl.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Kaboom Crawl will be happening where we have organized, partnering with a lot of the bars and restaurants in downtown Carson City. The Kaboom Crawl, we're going to try and make sure that that's at a really good price point as well. Get you a cool little color-changing drink cup and some, special fun things. We'll probably have a cosplay contest there as well. But I can announce, and I'm only going to announce one, but we have multiple bars and restaurants already on board, but I'm only going to give you one right now.
Okay. What's that
one? The one I'm going to give you right now is the Fox Brew Pub. So this is downtown Carson, right across the street from the Legislative Building. Formerly known as the Firkin Fox, but it is now the Fox Brew Pub, and they do brew their own beer. Great spot. So this is a bar and restaurant. So they are on board. I've got multiple others, but I'm not going to give anything else away right now. So it's going to be a heck of a day, September 7th, between KaboomCon, Kaboom Crawl. Speaking of crawl, so we've both drank some Twisted Teas on the show before, but I had to go out and buy.
I haven't had Twisted Tea yet, bro.
No, I thought you had. Well, I know I have. I've had the original, and I've had the peach, I believe. But I was at Sam's Club, and they're selling this 4-pack, and I had to buy it, and this is why.
Had to.
Twisted Tea Rocket Pop.
Oh.
So haven't had one yet. Okay. I have one of each of the 4 flavors on deck with me tonight. I've got the Twisted Tea Original, the half and half, which is kind of like an Arnold Palmer, the peach, and then of course this one,
Rocket Pop.
Rocket Pop.
Interesting.
Oh my!
I thought they would have gone with maybe a raspberry or something, but that's
it has a slight raspberry taste. It's not as good as I thought. I'm a little disappointed.
That's sad. I don't like when that happens.
Yes, and of course our local troll checking in, not to be confused with the Foxy Lady. And for those of you that don't know, James and I grew up in the city of Newark, California, where the Foxy Lady was the local gentleman's club, if you will. So yes,
we were never old enough to go in.
Yeah, it was gone before we turned 18. But yes, not to be the Fox Brew Pub in Carson City, not to be confused with the Foxy Lady in Newark, California. Yeah. And Stephanie says the half and half is the best. When I get there, I'll definitely say it's better than this, because this is disappointing. I was expecting it to be very delicious. So, I mean, the flavor is there, but it's so hidden behind that
it's like when I had the cherry limeade last week.
Yes. And So I've had a different one of these bars before, but my wife procured for me. She was going to Walmart, and I said, get me something interesting to have on the show. So she got me a Mr. Beast Feastable Milk Crunch.
Mr. Beast is making candy now?
Yes, he has been for quite some time, as a matter of fact. But I had the only one I ever had of his before was the Mr. Beast D's Nuts. It was like peanut butter, and so it was, yeah. And he actually ended up having to change the name. So if you haven't seen the pieces, they,
oh, it's like 3 small pieces, 1 big piece.
Yeah,
alternates.
So,
all right.
So let's. So it's like a crunch.
Yeah.
Actually, it's more like a crackle, which.
Oh, crackles are better than crunch.
I love me some crackle.
Yeah.
I'm that guy when like the Christmas candy comes out and they sell that mixed bag. I'm the one going through picking out all the crackles.
Yeah, I'll take. I started liking the Mr. Good bar. That's the peanuts, but
somebody says that the key is to have a shot of vodka in that twisted tea. Well, unfortunately, I am not going to leave the show to go get some vodka, but
that's stuff you need to know beforehand.
Yes, thanks, Steph. A little late. So, before we bring in our special guests and switch over to our podcast and a podcast, you got anything fun, exciting you want to talk about before we switch over?
No, I'm trying to get I'm trying to get tickets for. I'm trying to go see the Beatles Cirque show before it leaves because the Mirage is shutting down next month.
Yeah, but it's temporary. Hard Rock will reopen, I'm sure, within a couple months.
No, actually, they're demolishing the whole thing. They're building the Guitar Hotel.
I heard they were keeping some of it. No?
Oh, they might be keeping some of it. All I know is that like they, I heard they were like demolishing it, and because they're building that Guitar Hotel there.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have in, I guess, Tennessee, or not Tennessee. Where is it? Florida, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, they're building that hotel. And so they might keep some of it. I know that I would personally keep the front because that's been a feature forever, and just kind of
the volcano.
Change the theme of it.
I heard it's got about a week left, and then that thing's shutting down. So
yeah, I would hope maybe they'll put something else cool in there. But yeah, no, that's so I want to go see that show before it goes because they might reopen it, but I don't know. So it said every poster says final shows. So I'm like,
Well, so what's about to happen is I'm gonna play a little video, and it's gonna kind of be the intro into the new podcast, if you will, the Oak Bridge After Dark. We'll still be live. We'll still be we won't be as interactive because the focus is to talk to our guests about Oak Bridge and their experience and all of that kind of fun stuff. So we'll be bringing them on. We'll be talking to them. And then at the end of the interview, there will be a little outro, and then we'll come back up for some more of this. So if you're watching live right now, don't freak out. Don't leave. We're just switching over.
Stay right here.
Resetting, if you will.
Reset.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Oak Bridge After Dark.
After Dark.
I am Mark, the executive producer of Oak Bridge.
I'm James, an executive producer and director of Oak Bridge.
And with us today, we have two extremely talented individuals, both of which we've had the pleasure of working with on prior projects. First, on the left-hand side of your screen, Brian Murphy. And on the right-hand side of your screen, the fantastic Justin Clouse. Thank you, gentlemen, both for being here and joining us. We, of course, greatly appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity. I appreciate it.
Of course. Yeah. No, we love to, here at 97 Now Productions, we love to, share with our audience, peel back the curtain, so to speak, and, especially provide the talent the opportunity to, get their name out there that much more and talk about the craft and talk about the love of the craft. Hopefully that's what we're going to hear in this interview. But you never know. I mean, one of the things I'm going to just preface right up front is that I know that Justin is a lawyer, and it's interesting because his demeanor is so not like what I would expect from a lawyer. I'm usually expecting the very rigid, but no, Justin's a great guy. Brian is the man of many voices, and we're going to go there. I'm going to get you to do some of the different character voices that you've done with us already, and I lots of fun. But James, as the director of Oak Bridge, first, talk to us a little bit about your experience working with these two gentlemen and, kind of what that looked like to preface before we kind of dive into each of them individually.
No, so I had never actually had the opportunity to work with Justin before. Like you said, we had worked on a prior project, and so being able to work with him this time was a lot of fun. Getting and it was also a different character from the other project. Brian, I just realized I was thinking about it. Yeah, you worked with him on Captain Fearless. I worked with him from the Jack R. Rabbit Files, Murder by Garlic.
Yep.
So so he's absolutely one of my favorite character actors to work with. He always just brings that
wacky BS.
Yeah, exactly. What do I need from you? Let's try this. And he'll give me something, and then let's try this, and then that's the one we'll use. So yeah, so he always comes with a great character in there.
Nice. So what we're going to do with the first question is going to be for both of you, but we'll start with Justin first. So tell the people, the audience who is listening, maybe they're not watching this live right now. Maybe they're listening after the fact or watching after the fact. Maybe they just got introduced to you as an actor through listening to Oak Bridge, because this is releasing sometime in and around July. Just to peel back the curtain, today for us is May 22nd that we're recording this, but this is releasing at a later point. So Justin, tell the people who you are, what's your experience, what's your background, and what brought you to Oak Bridge.
Well, again, my name's Justin. I am an attorney, been an attorney for going on 46 years. My undergraduate degree is in theater, where I was trained as an actor, director, and I became a theatrical lighting designer for a while. Did some rock concerts in the late 60s, early 70s, which is why today I wear hearing aids.
They look nice.
Yeah, they fit. Yeah, they're hardly noticeable at all. But I've always been a fan of old time radio. As a kid, I was listening to Gunsmoke, Have Gun Will Travel, which were still being broadcast in the mid 50s to late 50s. And at one point, I had my own collection of about 7,000 old time radio shows. And so got the bug for that. I'm lit here in just south of Carson City in Carson Valley. And I work with the community theater. And there was an interest for recreation of old time radio show, and I've now done 5 of those. I have a source where I've got access to the actual scripts that were used back in the day for those shows, complete with commercials and everything. And being an attorney, my first concern was, what's the copyright? They are not copyrighted. None of them. None of them.
Really?
The scripts were owned by the sponsor. For example, the Jack Benny Show, sponsored at one point by Jell-O, later on by Lucky Strike. Well, Lucky Strike purchased the airtime and then contracted with Jack Benny, who then contracted with his writers and other cast members. But the shows actually belonged to Lucky Strike. So they felt that the scripts were just of no value. So there are repositories with these fantastic scripts. So when we do the recreation, we actually do the original scripts. There may be some topical references back from the 40s or 50s, which we will update or we just eliminate because they just don't make sense. But we also then have access to the commercials, even with the original music of the commercials. So we put on an evening of about 3 hours with a short break. The first one I did was basically a day in the life of old time radio, starting with the morning show, working to an afternoon soap opera, and then going into prime time. And every show has been a sellout. And the great thing is for the community theater, it's almost pure profit because we're not having to pay for performance
royalties.
costs. Nothing.
Yeah, that's
so,
actually pretty cool.
So it works out really well. So I'm working on another one, trying to fit that in.
Justin, I am here in Northern Nevada, and I love old time radio. I'm a big fan of like Fibber McGee and Molly, Great Gildersleeve, Abbott and Costello. By all means, let me know when these things are coming because I'd love to get involved with that because that sounds like a ton of fun.
Well, it's great too because you've got a lot of people who are not comfortable appearing in a traditional book play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, where they've got to memorize all their lines and remember their blocking and all that kind of stuff.
Scripts there.
You got the script, and so we can do it in about 20 rehearsals. So they can get the characters down, we can get the flow going, and we actually do the sound effects live, so that you've got you see them. Like for example, we did a Superman, and there's a quick scene where he's bending a railroad rail.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a balloon that's blown up completely tightly, and you just rub your fingers across it to get the sound of
nice
a metal.
Well, that ruins it for me. I swore you were going to go, oh yeah, we have a guy in the back with a real rail going. Oh.
But it was really cool because we had an elderly woman come up to us after one of the performances, and she said, I watched the whole first act because I wanted to see how the sound effects went. Mm-hmm. She said, but I sat with my eyes closed the entire second act. And it took me back to sitting in my parents' living room when I was a little girl, and we were all listening to these shows. She said, awesome. So it took me back in time. So it was great. And young kids come up and say, I never knew that's what radio was. I thought it was always just music and talk. I had no idea. We did a shadow episode that was a kind of a spooky one, and they just ate that up. So getting the opportunity to do this, and then what we're doing now with Oak Bridge, what I did with a couple of other productions, it fits in great, and it's a great break. And I'm basically a trial attorney, so my days are governed by the courtrooms and my clients, and so being able to chill out by doing what I do here, like what I'm talking with you guys, and the roles that I get to play, is awesome. Just it's a great break. Yeah, I'm loving it.
Awesome. Brian, same for you. Tell the folks who you are and how you got here.
Oh, well, now I got to follow Justin. It's like going on after the Beatles or something. I'm that kid that got sat in front of the TV when he was little and watched cartoon after cartoon after cartoon.
Yeah.
And used to, crack my dad up in the car by doing all the voices that I picked up on TV. And when I got older, some guys had an improv group called the Whateverly Brothers, and they said, Brian, why don't you come in here and do this with us? And it was like coming home, and we started to have a really blast. But then we lost our venue, and we all went out and auditioned for this big improv troupe in Los Angeles at the time called Mice, and I got in, and we started doing all the clubs in LA. We did the Comedy Store, we had a home at a place called Geo's, and eventually it ran through its life, and it tanked. Okay. And I ended up going to New York about the same time the Groundlings started their school in New York, and I auditioned for them, got in with those guys, and I have been doing, one thing I noticed is that we get a lot of lawyers in improv classes. There's yes and is apparently very popular with attorneys. So we do shows in New York, Los Angeles, probably about a good 10,000 hours worth of work. And my wife said, "Why don't you go back to college?" And I went, "Well, I don't know if I could even get in." And I did an audition at Chico State, and they said, "Okay, yeah, you can go to college." So I started working at college, and I eventually got an MFA in screenwriting, and I have been basically writing or teaching or performing or doing improv. The last gig I did was with a group in LA called the LA Connection, and they were a heck of a lot of fun. And I was working on my MFA, and you have to do a film. You have to do a short film for your MFA. And I said, "Well, wait, I'm in a room full of improv." You can believe how many people lined up to be in this thing and wanted to work for nothing. So you just feed them. It was a blast.
Easy.
So I was sitting literally on the computer, chatting with my friends on Facebook, and I saw you guys were looking for voices. And I said, "Oh, I'm going to go and sign up and see if they like any of the stuff I do." And the next thing I know, we were doing scenes for the superhero show, and we were having it was just so much fun to do it again. And you guys can call me whenever you want. I'll do it. It's just too much fun.
So you name dropped the Groundlings, which I actually know. I don't know about everybody out there.
I know the Groundlings.
Did you happen to be there at the time of anyone we might know?
Oh yeah, sure. Well, I was in New York. Okay, so we both happened to land in New York at the same time, and Randy Bennett and Shirley, what was her? She's gone now, but they were starting the school up out there, and so people came out of that school like Siobhan Fallon. Do you know Siobhan Fallon?
Yep.
But most of the big names came out of Los Angeles, and they eventually got to the point where they kind of sprung off and became their own thing. And I went back to California to go to school. But there was, I was doing these gigs, and I'm working at the front desk at the Mayflower Hotel right off of Columbus Circle. And I'm checking people in at night. And I go over to the rack and I pull out the name of the reservation, and it's Gary Getzman. Do you know who Gary Getzman is? Gary Getzman is Tom Hanks' partner.
Okay.
But he was also one of my best friends in elementary school. and he goes, and I go, "Gary Getzman." I go, "This is really weird. I used to have a friend in elementary school named Gary Getzman." And he goes, "Well, that's weird, because I used to have a friend in elementary school named Brian Murphy." And I go, "Wow, what are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I'm a producer at Orion now." And I go, "Great, give me a job." And he took me from behind the desk, introduced me to Michael Armitage, and gave me a job in Miami Blues, right there, and said, and it was just one of those.
See, again, it's not about what you know; it's about who you know.
I can't tell you enough. It's about who you know.
There's way too much truth to that statement.
He said, "Give me a job."
I did. I said, "Give me a job." And he goes, "Oh, he just happened to be in New York."
That's awesome.
He was a casting in New York, and one of the people who were reading, and her name just popped out of my head. Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Molly Ringwald?
The other one. Phoebe Cates' friend in there. Phoebe Cates was there. Everybody was there, like virtually the whole cast. And they were reading for this Miami Blues movie. And he happened to be casting, and the director, Michael Armitage, is a really powerful director, just said, "Yeah, Brian will do it." And of course, I was hired as a front desk clerk. But
hey,
it was a stretch.
Do what you do.
It was a stretch. I had a line. It was like, "Here's your mail."
Whatever.
And they went, "Wow, that's really good." That was it.
That's awesome.
But that's how you get your SAG card.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very true.
And we had David Sword checking in. He was our
Sword.
guest on the last episode, who is the voice of David in Oak Bridge. And he said he's a huge fan of old time radio. When he auditioned for Oak Bridge, he used an episode of X-1, Hallucination Orbit from 1956. So, yeah. Great stories, guys. So we'll go reverse order on this one. So, Brian, tell the audience about your character that you're playing in Oak Bridge, and maybe give them a little taste of what they feel like, and tell us how you, as an actor, do you connect to the character? And yes, Brian.
Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but I play Mayor Carmichael. Mayor Carmichael is a politician.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not the seediest guy in the room, but he's one of them. And he's not the most dishonest guy in the room. He isn't the guy that has the most to hide, but he's got stuff to hide. And he definitely is not the most honest guy in the room. And I had to reach deep down inside. And yeah, exactly.
And that's the voice.
He's afraid of Mayor McCheese. I had to reach deep down within to the darkest centers of my soul and come up with a way to relate to this character as a seedy politician in an environment where he had some secrets to keep, and he was under the watchful eye of some, law enforcement people. And that was really what kept me going. And I would, every time James would ask me to do something, I'd really have to, I would think to myself, what would Jack Nicholson do? And that's where that came from.
WWJN, WWJND.
Right. Exactly.
Justin, same for you. Tell us about the character you're playing and where you find the connections to the role.
I play the town sheriff, and I'm Brian's nemesis. I don't take in, I don't let any opportunity pass without giving him some shot about his puffery or his agenda or his goals in life. I've been the town sheriff for a lifetime. I'm an old crusty guy that I don't put up with politicians. I don't put up with crap. Yeah. And I've got a good crew in the office. But they're a little out there too. They do things that they shouldn't be doing, so I have to basically be the heavy hand to bring them back in. Then I've got a private life, and I've got secrets to hold too, which I'm not going to tell you about here. But I've got secrets to hold too that drive me in what I need to do. Yeah. In my background, it comes. I've known in my hometown, which is a small town in Illinois. We had a law enforcement officer, which was very much like my character here. Everyone in town basically loved him, respected him, but he also was no nonsense, but he had a heart as well. So I kind of lean towards that, and some of the work I do criminal law as well. So I see law enforcement on a regular basis, so I can pick out the good guys and the bad guys. So I take a little bit of the bad guys, a little bit of the good guys, and now I'm the sheriff here.
So this is interesting because the two of you have never met before. So we're talking real life now, right, Brian and Justin? The two of you have never met before, and I correct me if I'm wrong, but you guys had no recording sessions together either.
No,
So there is back and forth between these two characters. So dealer's choice, whoever wants to go, tell us about that experience, what it's like from a recording perspective of not actually working with the talent that you're working with theoretically.
Go ahead, Brian.
Well, for me, it's always it's kind of a new experience. You have to imagine his detective breathing down your neck and giving you pause for literally everything that comes out of your mouth. For me, though, it's a completely different experience to work alone like that, because you get so much from being in a scene with another actor. We used to say, the scene is in your partner's eyes, but when you do work like this, it's in their voice, and you really get a lot from the way they say stuff, how they say stuff, and you don't really know how you're going to play it until you hear what it is they're saying. So I have to thank James for I was like, James, let's give me something to play off, and we would do these back and forth and say, well, yeah, let's think about it like this, and what if this was going on, and then you play with it that way.
Yeah, you do you basically get a couple different versions of it, just depending on how the other person plays. So therefore, that you can kind of make sure that the scene meshes.
Exactly. But it's so much fun when we were doing the Captain Fearless, and I don't remember the actor's name, but he was playing the Chiseler. And you'd get lost in the scene. You would just get lost in it. And so I'm kind of jealous of Justin doing all the radio stuff with all these people actually on stage. We used to do a bit in improv in the old days where we would literally turn the lights off and improvise a radio show right there with just doing nothing but sound, just doing nothing but the voices.
That's cool too. I wish when I was doing improv, I wish we'd almost had something like that. That'd been kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's a blast.
Justin, for you?
Well, part of the previous series that I'd been in, a lot of my recording was done by myself. So it was not something that was foreign to me in doing it here for Oak Ridge. I read the scripts thoroughly frontwards and backwards and try to pick up the nuances that the writers are putting in there. But when it comes time to picturing my nemesis, the mayor, in the old Andy Griffith show, the first mayor, he only lasted one season because he passed away. But then Parley Bear came in as Mayor Stoner, and he was a pompous SOB and was always trying to tell the sheriff how to run his office and everything else. So I basically pretended that when I was doing my lines for Oak Ridge, that I was talking to Mayor Stoner from the Andy Griffith show. It gives me that edge in my voice to basically try to be nice, but basically put him in his place and let him know I keep him in a little box on the shelf and I only pull him out when I need him.
So you brought up an interesting point. Everybody that we've talked to so far, when we've asked, did you read the scripts completely? Do you know what happens and everything? Everyone we've interviewed so far has said no. They really just read their scenes, or they don't want the surprise. They want to, when they hear it, when they listen to it, they want to still have kind of that shock. So it's interesting, Justin, that you read the scripts upside down and inside out. So we're going to get a unique perspective in that regard from you. What do you think of the show as a whole, in that you have read it all? You haven't heard it yet, but you know everything that's going to happen. So what do you think?
What I liked about it is that it builds suspense and then it drops off. And then it goes flat, calm, I should say, not flat, calm.
Yeah.
And then you get some insight into the personal lives of the characters away from their jobs. My job as a sheriff, the deputies that I've got, my daughter, those people in town. So you get a sense of, when I close my eyes, it's like I can watch a program and I can see these people all gathering in this town. And as I read through the scripts, I see their development. I see what their agenda is. I'm able to understand their motivation and what they're doing by just what the lines indicate. So it gives me a better idea of the whole scenario that we're working from, so that when I'm doing my roles, I can feel at a point where I need to be more authoritative, or at a point where I myself am caught by surprise what I've just learned when it comes in, the second murder, as the bodies start stacking up. Mm-hmm. So I'm ready for that, but I know I'm going to be surprised, so I'm ready to be surprised. So it just gives me a better perspective. That's how it's basically how I present a case when I'm interviewing a client for the first time, and we're plotting out where we need to go with it.
It all comes back together.
Exactly.
No, yeah, Justin was real fun because we did Saturday sessions, I think. Yeah, we did Saturday sessions, so we were it was just the two of us for a few hours on Saturday mornings, and so we got everything done within the 2 sessions. Brian, we had Saturday sessions too, but we ran a little long, and then we had to come back and get some stuff. And then actually, just last week, I had to call him because apparently I didn't realize
some lines.
We missed a line, and so I had to send an email and just be like, hey, I know you get off this. I know you get off at this time. You're gonna be available. He's like, yeah, I got you. And so he came back in, did a couple lines real quick, and we knocked that out. So.
And Brian, for you, did you read all of the scripts in their entirety?
I read every one of my lines. I put myself in every one of the scenes and the settings that the action took place. And as you walk through it, you tend to, the way I look at a scene is, the audience wants to know, they basically want to know who wants what from whom. What happens if they don't get it and why now? So you try to look at those aspects of the scene itself and see what it is that my character wants in that scene, why he wants it, and what's at stake. And so in that way, you approach it from you have an intention. I'm doing this action in order to achieve a goal. And that's really all I need to make it real for me.
Yeah, I'm interesting in the sense that I kind of hybrid depending on what I'm working on, because I like to voice act, but I also produce and do all of that other stuff. And so when I'm doing a show, I like to know the entirety of the show, and especially if I'm doing a stage show, I like to read the entire thing, because what if one of the actors I'm working with drops a line? Can I pick it up, or can I at least proceed? Where with the radio stuff or the audio dramas, I don't read as much, because I do kind of want that surprise of what might happen. I skim, but I don't get deep into it.
It's been different. Because beforehand I had to read all the scripts. Of course, I'm directing the whole thing, but I had to read all the scripts, and I was making edits and stuff like that.
Good to know you read them.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things. It's like, so it's kind of like, I was kind of like, now for me, it's the excitement of hearing it all come together. That's the exciting part for me now. So it's like, okay, cool. Now that's what I was envisioning, and so I'll hit up Joe. Hey, do we got another take of that, or what's going on? So and like, again, Joe works wonders anyway, so it's not even that big of a deal. But no, it's just becoming, okay, I hear it and I'm just like, okay, does this work? Does that work? And so, but definitely like working on Murphy's, for example, I now I read, I have to read all the scripts because of the production, but from the producing, but before I was just kind of going through my scenes so that when I could go back and listen to it and really hear it all together. So that's that. I feel you on that, Brian.
So
like Marlon Brando doesn't even read his lines. He didn't even know his lines. When they were doing The Godfather, Robert Duvall had Marlon Brando's lines on his shirt, and that was the first time Brando read the lines. And
wow, that's crazy!
He got an Academy Award.
So he didn't even do the man didn't even do the work.
No, he was in the moment.
I guess that I guess there's something to say about that.
There are numerous ways to slice a carrot.
One of the greatest character roles, and man, Brando killed that. And speaking of character roles, Brian, you to me, I think, are a character actor. I feel like that's where you thrive. Yeah. Can you share with the audience some of the characters that you've at least played for us, or any that you feel comfortable just presenting on the fly? Let's start with Time Traveling Nazis of Doom, Captain Fearless. Can you give a little taste for what you did there?
Well, you see, when you're doing that one, that is a very bad seed. He was a nasty German Nazi person who has to go in there and try to take over the world. It's not really a very kind man to do that with. And
then over on Murder by Garlic.
This is all like, and then you have the French guys who talk like this all the time, and they want to run around and chase women and do all kinds of weird things with food.
Mhm.
And then and then a lot of times you get calls to do, like, you want to do a Scotland like this, you got to round the rugged rocks, the rugged rascal run, and you got to get in there and do that like that, which is completely different from an Irish guy or a British guy or Swedish, like my dad. This used to crack my dad. If I would hit in the car and I'd say, "Well, Dad, why don't you get on the dang freeway already?" Which is a Tim Conway steal, right? And he would be like, literally tears would be coming out of his eyes, and it just made me very happy to be able to crack my dad up like that. And so you it's just one of these things. You don't know how you do it. You just pick it up and you just try to make it. They just come out of you, and they all want different things, and it's just a heck of a lot of fun. And when you're doing like improv on stage stuff, you never know which ones are going to come out. You never know which ones the audience is going to call for. And then like one really weird one that they called it every night, an Australian. And Australians like, g'day, g'day. You're going to do an Australian like this, you don't get to talk like that. And it's really weird that they thought that was interesting. So it's just fun. And it's a blast. It's just something that you do all the time. You get on a phone call with people. Like if you get on the phone and you're talking to somebody, the best people to do it with are folks who call you and they're trying to scam you and stuff. And you're going like, yes, hello.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, I'm from Microsoft and I really need to get in your computer. Hi, Microsoft. Okay. What do you need me to do? And they're like, well, can you get to your screen? Oh, you want me to scream? No, you just play
it. and one last one, if you could, just for the audience, because they probably know you also from Murphy's Inc., where you played Johannes in season 2 in the Dancing Plague arc.
That was, if I can remember, we made that was like almost an invented kind of nationality, as I recall. And we were he was one of these people that came from almost like a cross between the Mideast like this, and then trying to give him some antiquity in there as well. So his vocabulary was very limited to the things that he knew. You didn't know the stuff, stuff like that. So you want to become somebody, and yet you don't want to lose. You don't want to be crazy.
Yeah, Brian is one of those fantastic people where it's like, hey, I've got this character. I think I got a guy that can do it because, I'm a character actor as well. I love to play different, unique individuals. But when somebody's got it, they've got it. And I love having you in my back pocket for that need. Like, oh, I need Eastern German. Oh, I need a Western German because he can give me two distinct different takes.
Right.
It's
exactly. You get the German, right? Because they're like, oh, we're going to go like down to the, you have to listen to polka and all that kind of stuff, and then you have the nasty and evil German who wants to come down like this. And so you have to have these little shades. You put little shadings on and stuff.
Yeah,
but it's all it's just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah, anytime we have a character, it's like, hey, see what Brian's doing. And
then you go, and then they go and say, hey, can you do Mayor Carmichael? Oh yeah, where's he from? Oh, I don't know, the Midwest.
Yeah, so I think that's the only time. That's like you're actually using your voice for that.
So it's fun.
Yeah.
Then of course you have Justin, who his audition for Oak Bridge was a lawyer monologue.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's right. You
Justin,
can't handle the truth.
Do you I don't get the impression, please correct me if I'm wrong, that you're the wild and crazy character actor. But if you are, please, do you where do you generally like? Where's your sweet spot?
I do really well at comedy. I've done more comedy roles in my career than dramatic roles. But being in a previous series, I was a very evil, old, mad scientist type character.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
that laugh, though.
I'm almost waiting for you to be like, you will never understand the power of the dark side.
Yo, he has a Senator Palpatine vibe going on right now.
right. Yes.
Silver hair. I dig it.
Yeah,
I
there you go,
dig that.
Yeah. But I like the comedy. I like the clown roles too. And I let loose on that. I had the lead in the play Moon Over Buffalo. It was kind of cool. I got a standing ovation at the drunk monologue. So I thought, okay, this works.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it's fun stopping the show.
So we're winding down. We got to wrap here shortly. But before we do, I always like to provide the opportunity. Justin, what are you working on next?
Well, I'm working on putting together another recreation of old time radio for the theater here. And so hopefully we can get that on in the early fall. It depends on the venue schedule that we can work with. So I like that. And I've got 3 trials coming up at the end of the year. So I'm working on those too in my free time.
And your clockable hours.
That's right. Yes. And then I'm looking for any opportunity to do like what we do with you guys. Any opportunity, whether it's a small part or a lead, it doesn't matter. It's all fun.
Oh, you'll be back.
Season 2 of Oak Bridge, will you be back?
Absolutely. Yep. I've already been asked if I'm available, and I said absolutely. The character will continue, and some of the secrets will start surfacing as my guess. I haven't seen any scripts, but from what I'm surmising, it's going to build.
Yeah,
so that'll be fun.
Yeah, Lamar.
Well, and just for the one time, we'll throw it out there. If you haven't realized who Justin is yet, if you haven't recognized the voice yet, he did play the role of Josiah Harridge in The Secret Carriage. So you haven't, fantastic voice actor over there as well. Brian, what do you got going on? What do you got coming up? I'm
sending out. I'm working on a TV pilot called Sunset's Heat.
Oh, nice.
It's a sci-fi TV cop procedural spoof parody. It would be as if, imagine Roger Corman and Dick Wolf got together to do a show, and it's about a crooked cop who gets sent to a penal colony. She's a female cop, and she's a vice cop, and she gets caught up in a sting and has to, in order to get back to Earth, she gets sent to a Martian colony as a mail order bride, where the ratio of women to men is very, very low. There's like one woman for every 25 or 30, maybe even 100 guys.
Sheesh.
He ends up working as an indentured servant in a mine on the moon of Phobos, where they have discovered this alien mold that only grows on the skin of women, and they have to peel it off like a Band-Aid, and it's worth trillions of dollars. And she gets caught up in the whole show is about these characters who are caught up in this bizarre economic system built around this substance, which is the only thing that will let food grow back on Earth. And it also is a great psychedelic drug.
Hey, Brian, hey, give me a job.
Yes, we do need a hotel clerk.
What I'm wondering though is, did you just improv the hell out of us, or
no?
That's legit.
Because that story
it almost sounded fake. It almost sounded like it wasn't real.
I thought it was an episode from Mork and Mindy.
What happened to Justin? Where did Justin go?
Yeah.
No, it's, and then we're also sending out I have a couple of partners, and we're sending out a feature called the Infiniplex. It's about it's a story about a guy. It's a horror. It's kind of a horror comedy psycho thriller where that transcends consciousness itself. It's really freaky.
So will you gentlemen be joining us at KaboomCon September 7th in Carson City?
September 7th?
September 7th.
Good chance of it.
Of course. Yes. Duh.
Yeah.
Well, that's good news. So for the people listening after the fact, or those even watching, listening live, Justin Clouser, Brian Murphy will be at KaboomCon.
You can meet them live.
Meet them, greet them. Just don't beat them. Well, I am so appreciative of having you both here. I love talking to both of you guys. You are interesting individuals, to say the least. And as Brian, I season 2 Oakbridge, will you be there?
Yes.
Oh, spoiler: he survives. Good to know.
No. Well, I'm
He'll be there.
coming back from the dead.
Yeah,
so we will have you guys back in the future, of course, for more interviews when we get into season 2. And I love working with you guys, and I look forward to more in the future. And of course, David is asking if there will be an Oakbridge panel at KaboomCon. I'm not against it. We will have to see who we get committed, because right now the creator of Oakbridge unfortunately isn't going to be able to make it. So we're going to see what we can do. But Brian, Justin, thank you both for being here. I look forward to whatever beautiful things you guys do. Brian, I definitely want to see that pilot get made, because that sounds crazy as hell. And Justin, what's the local courthouse we can come see you putting on a trial?
Oh, well, let's see.
That'll be fun.
Down here in Douglas County in Minden. Probably I'm thinking there's one I'm involved with in Yarrington and one up in Carson City.
So if anybody wants to go sit in the is it the gallery? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Watch Justin put on a show.
Oh, that
yeah.
That reminds me. I got jury duty.
Put on a defense or
jury duty.
Yes.
That sounds terrible.
Yes. Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if I could be on this trial. I know that guy.
Yeah. There you go. See? Yeah.
Well, once again, thank you, gentlemen, and look forward to talking to you guys again in the near future.
Thank you for your
Take
time.
care.
Yeah.
Nice meeting you, Justin.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks so much.
Terrific. Great.
And for those of you still with us, Justin Clouser, Brian Murphy were just with us for Oakbridge After Dark. Next week, we'll have 2 guests again. Rachel Anderson, fantastic actress. We had her over on Murphy's Inc. She played the unsinkable Molly Brown. And she also played a smaller part in one of the earlier episodes of season 2. And then we'll also have Ari Kafarada Jenkins. And for those of you that are like, I kind of recognize that name, but maybe not entirely. He previously on Murphy's Inc. went by Quinn Kafarada Jenkins.
Also known as Quinn. Yeah.
But he's decided to go with a stage name using his middle name, which is cool. I get it. I have no problem with that. Which is going to be weird because he wants to, on Murphy's Inc., remain as Quinn. Because I asked him, as we were finalizing season 2, we knew at that point, and I was like, "Hey, do you want me to change all these out?" And he said, "No, it's fine. I'll stay Quinn over here." Oh, okay, if that's what you want to do. But Brian,
so luckily we have a different announcer on each show, so therefore we're good.
Yeah, exactly. So while we were doing that, I drank the original to kind of wash the palate of that other thing.
Yeah.
And I'm currently drinking the peach twisted, and I'm about to move to the half and half. I figured if Stephanie said it's the best, I'm going to save it for last.
Yeah, so I had a Hell or High watermelon to start the night off, and then I had actually the Simply Spiked signature limeade. That one's actually pretty darn good.
So just straight.
And
lime.
then now I'm working on the yeah, and now blackberry. This one's also. I'm a little disappointed that the cherry one is not as good.
Yeah,
because that's the one I was really excited about.
So now I am going to do the half and half, and
Okay.
we'll see. Out of these four, is this indeed the best? Because I would say probably right now out of those three, the peach is the best.
Peach is the best. Uh-oh.
This is the best. Half and half is indeed the best. Good job, Stephanie.
Yeah.
So for me, it would go half and half, peach, original, and then rocket pop.
Yeah. Rocket pop down at the bottom.
Yeah, get that crap out of here. And
so is it cold though?
It is still cold. I made sure that I had them nice and frosty before I brought them in the room. I know that we have been going for about an hour, and so it's probably not as cold as it was about an hour ago, but that's no reason to turn away alcohol. You know better.
Come on. You've hung out with us.
It's been a minute, but yes. That's right. That's right, Jeff. The thing you're used to eating, rocket poop.
Yikes.
Have you seen Jeff? Is he out of the hospital? Is he?
Yeah, he got out of the hospital on Saturday. He texted me the other night. He texted me actually last night and said that he got out on Saturday and he was happy that I was able to come by and see him. So I'm glad I could do that for you. Yeah.
You're a better friend to Jeff than me. So that's
he wasn't trolling that time.
So speaking of, so coming up in a very few short weeks, we've got Powerhouse Comic-Con coming up.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
I'm like, this is gonna be the first. It's gonna be the first big one, man.
Yeah, I mean, compared to what we did last year, for sure. And it's gonna be our first time releasing something of substance for Icy Sound Comics.
Yeah, that's exciting and scary, man. I'm telling. I'm not even like I'm not an artist on this one, but it's real now, bro. It's real.
Yeah, it's interesting when we think about, you go back to COVID, right?
Our journey.
And Jeff says he's been writing material. Where's Tyrus?
Not voice to text though, right?
But it's so interesting. We've talked about this multiple times on this show, where how this all came to being, right? How this show, Fat and Black Connection, was born COVID.
Well, I mean, like we'd kind of gone with FABC for some time, especially like when we made our characters in like the wrestling games and stuff like that.
Oh, so, for sure. Yeah. I mean, we've been the Fat and Black Connection for 15 plus years.
Yeah. So, now this actually this came out of COVID.
Yeah. And it was, it all stemmed from just, you were in Vegas, I was up here, let's check in and make sure we're doing all right. And,
yeah.
But it's interesting because, 97 and Out Productions, we've always said that it's to provide people the opportunities that they might not otherwise get, right? Like that's the base premise of what we're doing.
Right.
But it all was born out of this show, us hanging out and just talking and catching up, which then led us to, obviously this, and then we started, because of what we were doing on this show and like finding interesting things to talk about, we started getting involved in audio dramas.
Right.
I can remember the first time I ever even like posted the auditions about a show that shall not be named, that, I auditioned for, and I didn't actually originally get in.
Right.
And eventually did. And, we talked about that show a lot here.
We did.
I started producing on that show.
I remember, I got asked to be a small bit part in that show because of this show.
Yeah. And then we, ultimately, because of me working over there, was asked, hey, would you be interested in producing this show over here that needs a producer? And here comes Murphy's Inc., right?
Yeah, and then I remember that phone call. I was so hesitant because I was like, I don't know what to do there.
Yeah, and it's been an interesting couple of years, because we went from just hanging out chatting to producing full-blown multi-episode audio dramas.
Yeah.
To
Serials out here. Yeah.
To organizing a comic convention to now we are producing and helping to develop comic books themselves.
Bro, not in a million years would I've been like, yeah, that's what's going to end up happening when I'm in my 40s.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's so interesting. Like, so for those of you that haven't been following along,
was not on the bingo card.
we recently had Lawrence and Diego Iriarte, the father-son dynamic duo, who are probably most well known for the Olympia with a Vengeance comic books and film.
Yeah.
And we had them on recently to announce that 97 to Now Productions is going to be producing Icy Sound Comics. And Icy Sound Comics is, in essence, Lawrence and Diego with Jam, the artist, Justin, who we had on 2 weeks ago. For Oak Bridge. And, the five of us, well, 3 out of the five of us have known each other for quite some time.
Yeah.
4, again, 3, you, Lawrence and Diego, have known and hung out with each other for quite some time.
Right.
Justin recently came into the fold for pretty much all of us. But it's interesting because, we went to Newark Memorial. We graduated from Newark Memorial. Lawrence went to Newark Memorial, graduated from Newark Memorial. And because of that passion that, was instilled in us from Barb Williams, Stephen Harrington, it's carried forward and really just brought about this opportunity to work with Lawrence and Diego. And for those of you who don't know, Lawrence has worked on Marvel, on DC, and
he did, and you would not know it was him.
He was a ghost artist.
He was a ghost artist, yeah.
And so, he fantastic, amazing guy, good man, like good father. Like, some of that, those two things are probably more important than anything else.
Yeah. I mean, I've been with him through some lows. I've been with him through highs, and he is one of my favorite directors to work with. He was the one who actually pushed me to do something more serious. He was teaching at Ohlone. He actually got a couple different things he was kind of working on when he was up there. And when I met him through the Crucible that you worked on, that H directed up at Ohlone. So I'd known Lawrence for a little while. He'd seen me do some stuff up at Ohlone, and he was like, you're always playing like these kind of comical roles. I think you could do something serious. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I like playing, the funny. And he was like, no, like, I want you to give this a shot. And he gave me this thing. And I was like, yo, I absolutely fell in love with it. And he was like, that's what you need to be doing. So he was the one who really, I give a lot of credit to Tom Blank, because he Barb and H instilled it. Tom let me pursue it. Lawrence pushed me to do more. So,
yeah, I would say 3 out of those 4 I definitely have enjoyed very much working with. One of which we just had very different experiences.
Yeah.
No offense to Tom. I think he's great for, some people. For me, he just wasn't my cup of tea. I think he, from my perspective, played favorites a little bit too much. And I've never been fond of that. But then again, H and Barb both did too.
Yeah, I was about to say we did.
Unfortunately, I was one of their
Yeah,
favorites.
you were on the
so,
you were on the you were on the favorite side.
Yeah. So for me that worked out.
Yeah.
I was not one of Tom's favorites at all.
Well, and I got there. I actually, I mean, I just did a bunch of different stuff with Tom, and so like we actually grew. We grew a bond through over time. It wasn't like I got there and it was like, oh, this guy. But no, I mean, I worked with him on a number of different things. Picked his ear. So he became kind of a mentor to me, and through other aspects because I did directing and all that other kind of stuff up there. And so that's kind of how our relationship went. And so, but Lawrence, I mean, actually the first time I met Lawrence, I thought I was in trouble because I was just doing voices over the headset, like before the show. And he's like, who's doing that? And I was like, me. And he's like, no, that's awesome. Like we'll talk. And so, it's just Barb and H. It was a different situation too, because Barb, I would just come hang out with y'all in the theater hallway. I wasn't doing shows. That was my freshman year. You weren't there yet. You were still in junior high. But I met David Hyatt Lloyd Richards Reese III, Esquire.
Junior the first.
For Junior the first, right. I met him, and he kind of introduced me over there, and then I was kind of just hanging out over there to learn. And Barb got me kind of interested and did the first. I didn't do the first year. I ended up winning tickets to go see the Crucible that they were doing my freshman year. And I went to go to that, and that was amazing. And then I don't remember the second show that year, but I know I went to go see that. And then my sophomore year, that's when I started doing shows. And my first role ever with Newark Memorial Theater was Soaks Baker in Look Homeward Angel. I was a newspaper boy. And so I had a little bit to do at the beginning of the show, and then like I came out later throwing newspapers. So it was fun. It was just a lot of fun. And that's the same year Mark got to the high school, and we met, and the rest is history. How many shows did we? Because you did. I think the only show I didn't do. I worked on The Wiz. I wasn't actually in The Wiz. And then
I wasn't in The Wiz. I didn't do anything my freshman year.
Oh, okay.
My sophomore year, I did Bye Bye Birdie.
Right.
I did the 60s show with H when they were doing some one acts. So he did the 60s show, and Barb did something.
I did something else.
James Monzello did a student direct, and you did that.
I did that one.
And then obviously my junior year, your senior year
was Grease,
Man of La Mancha.
Yeah.
And then Play the Century again, Sam.
Yes. That was that Lexi?
Yes, yeah. Lexi Lazier.
And we both did that, yeah.
And then my senior year, I did Assassins and West Side Story, and then of course student directed 1X and brought you back.
Yeah, when I came back for that, yeah.
But all this is now moving forward to Powerhouse Comic-Con coming up June 8th.
We're doing cons now, guys.
Just a couple weeks away. Where we're gonna have Lawrence and Diego and
Jam, right?
Jam, Icy Sound Comics be in full effect. We will have our first Ash Can, and for those of you that aren't like hardcore like comic nerds, an Ash Can is a teaser. It's something that the comic book industry or production companies put out to say, here's something coming.
Actually, you know what it was for? I did some research the other day because I was like, what the hell's an Ash Can? Because I knew we talked about it, but I forgot. It was actually a copyright. It was a copyright thing. It was so they could get copyright. So basically, they had a copyright. It was kind of a cheap way to do copyright.
Poor man's copyright.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And so one of the interesting things is part of creating the Ash Can is, it's not going to be 100% content, right? Like,
no,
you're not going to give everything away.
No.
But, and a lot
not
of
even by a long shot, guys.
and a lot of it is going to be like black and white, you know.
Yeah. We ain't giving you
because
color yet.
so, you know, for example, one of the things that I've been developing that'll be a part of the ash can is, you know, kind of introduction images or whatever, where, you know, there's going to be an icy sound page where Lawrence, Diego, Justin, they'll be on that page, and it'll be, you know, some pictures of them and some, you know, brief bios. And then of course there's going to be a 97 and Out Productions page that, you know, we're currently developing, but you know, it's just pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You know, who we are, what's our mission. And then of course across the bottom there you can see like some of the shows that we've worked on or are working on.
Yeah.
And then, you know, additionally there's going to be another page that's just you know, it'll be Murphy's Inc. and Oak Ridge, really highlighting them with a QR code that you can scan to go to the page.
Nice.
But the interior. So here's the big takeaway, folks. If you're not at Powerhouse Comic Con, you're not going to get access to this ash can. And this ash can is going to have 6 interior pages of art from the forthcoming Murphy's Inc. comic book. So I would highly recommend, if you have the ability to make your way to Powerhouse Comic Con in Antioch, California on June 8th, you need to do that, because that is the only place where you're going to be able to get this ash can. We're doing a couple different cons this year, and each con is going to be a different ash can with different content. So this is the only place where you're going to be able to get that Murphy's Inc. Ash can. And I can tell you that the entirety of the Murphy's Inc. issue 1 that is being worked on is going to be close to 24-ish pages. So, you know, getting to C6, we're talking about a quarter of what the comic is going to look like, feel like. So, you know, you really don't want to miss out on these opportunities. And like I said, we're going to be there. Then we're going to be at Silver Age Comic Con in Reno Sparks Convention Center, July 13th and 14th, where we're going to have a different ash can. There'll be some stuff that's the same, like this 97 Now Productions page is going to be the same. You know, the Icy Sound page is going to be the same, but the interior, the guts, is going to be representative of a different.
Something new. And
then we'll go forth to August, where we'll be at the Con for a Cause, Nerds United. And it'll be another ash can. Yeah. And then, of course, at Kaboom Con, the granddaddy, there will be more, and more to be revealed. But you know, the plan is over the next 12 to 14 months or so, we're going to be releasing 6 issue 1s for 6 interesting, unique comics and
new stories, people. New stories.
And a little insider track for those of you that are following along at home. Kickstarter is coming.
Join the Kickstart.
We're excited to you know, try and bundle all this stuff. You know, I'm so excited because these stories that Lawrence and Diego, I mean, obviously Murphy's Inc. is one of the 6, but the other 5 are the brainchild of Lawrence and Diego. Man, they've got creative as hell, like, ideas. And we haven't even gone into what does Icy Sound really mean? Well, you know, we talked about it briefly when we had them here on the show. And, you know, the concept of back in like the 60s or 70s and 80s, Power Records, right? Where you'd get a comic book issue and you'd get a little, you know, 45 record that you would play. And it's like a Teddy Ruxpin, right? Like it plays what's happening in the story for you. Like the dialogue is read.
Teddy Ruxpin, bro.
Right?
That's crazy. And Grubby.
Yeah, right. See, Grubby the Worm. See, my wife and I had this conversation the other day, and she was like, "What is that?" She didn't know. She didn't know.
Yeah, that was Teddy Ruxpin. And actually, they re-released Teddy Ruxpin recently. They came out with a new Teddy Ruxpin. No Grubby though. But yeah, like Teddy Ruxpin, and then you put the tape in his back, and then you could connect Grubby
Yeah, you use a three-quarter inch or eighth quarter inch jack, and you
Whatever
plug
it
in
was, yeah,
grubby.
you would connect them together, and he would tell part of the story, and Teddy Ruxpin tells part of the story, or he'd take his lines, and Teddy would and then everything, and then actually the spinoff of that, I don't know if you remember this one. They had a Mickey story like Teddy Ruxpin.
No, I don't.
Oh, okay. See, I had that one. I remember I had the Mickey, and they had a Goofy companion that went with it. Unfortunately, I didn't get the Goofy, but I had the Mickey, and they had the tapes that you put in, and then also it could also just play regular cassette tapes. So you would use it, and you could play like I'm playing Michael Jackson's "Bad" in the in the in the Mickey Mouse.
And of course, Jenny says it's Teddy Ruxpin, not Rupskin.
What? Ruxpin. Oh, you said it wrong. Yeah.
And that's how I've always pronounced it since I was a kid, Teddy Rupskin.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Teddy Ruxpin. They had a cassette. They had a cassette set of those of it was like a movie, and I used to get that all the time from Warehouse when I was a kid. That one, and then actually they had action figures too. I had little action figures of them with the airship. I had that. I had the airship. I had Grubby and Teddy Ruxpin and some of the soldiers. Yeah, it was.
Well, your family was rich, so you could have all that kind of cool stuff.
Weren't rich, just better off than some. Anyway.
So, anyways, we're gonna be at a bunch of cons. We've got ash cans coming. We've got so much content. We've got a Kickstarter coming, and I can't stress enough that, especially with Lawrence and Diego, I have no doubt that when these issue ones release,
it'll be worth something.
Yeah, Diego is the youngest person to ever sell a piece at the San Diego Comic-Con Museum.
So crazy. I mean, like, and you guys have heard me tell the story about Diego. Like, I've literally seen his art expand. His art has gone from being a kid to now being a man, and his art has evolved with him.
Now he's a man.
Yeah,
man.
And so I'm so proud. I'm so proud of him. I'm proud to work with Lawrence. I'm proud to know Lawrence. I'm proud, and actually, I am proud to know Justin, man. Like, I didn't know him. Like, I ran in. Oh, Diego introduced me to him. And ended up, and so we ended up, striking a conversation, and then meeting him at that con was phenomenal. So we got to know each other even more. So so this has been a amoeba that is now forming into a fully formed thing.
Yeah, and all of this, because of COVID.
Yeah,
and us just wanting to check in on each other to make sure we're good.
Yeah, and actually, because I talked to Lawrence about that. I hope he releases some of the stuff that we worked on during COVID. A matter of fact, we worked on some audio, just some voiceover stuff during COVID, and so with some other people that I've had the pleasure to work with, who I want to get to come over and work with us on 97 and Now Productions. So we'll see how that goes.
It's not like you haven't already tried. So what do you got going on for the next week? Anything fun or exciting? We've got Memorial Day weekend coming up, which I know for you is not a long weekend.
Yeah.
But it's nice because at least on Monday you're going to get paid double time and a half, right?
Give me that money. Actually, I have I did a magazine interview recently. I will, and I got to find out when that is released, and I will make sure to put that on the page.
What's the name of the magazine?
It's called Canvas Rebels.
Oh, they got you. Oh no. Oh no, James.
What?
It's a scam.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't have to send him anything.
Oh, I know, not yet, but yeah, no, they tried to get me.
Oh well.
Yeah.
I actually thing was I thought it was somebody else. Actually, I thought it was the guy that I met at the airport that I talked to, and he says that he did and so I thought that was him, but it wasn't him apparently. But anyways, yeah, I did that. Yeah, but like that was it on that, and then I did the first episode of which is done and edited, and that will be coming out. I believe he said June 9th, I want to say.
Oh, so just a couple weeks before.
Yeah. I actually I'm letting you guys know now that hopefully here in the next couple weeks we will have a trailer.
Couple weeks? I need that thing now. I need that
Well,
thing.
like I'm saying, like in because it's the 22nd. So I asked for it by the end of the month so that we have a trailer for
Yeah,
season 1 of Oak Bridge.
I need that thing like now.
Yeah, I'll make a phone call.
Because I'll tell you right now, if I don't have something in like the next, I don't know, 3-4 days, I'm just gonna rip the first like 3 minutes of of episode 1.
No need. Like I thought we had a little bit longer. I gave until the end of the month, so we got. I mean, that's a couple days anyway. So, yeah.
I do got to say, again, peeling back the curtain for the audience, I am a little bit concerned because Oak Bridge is 10 episodes, and we currently only have 2 fully in the can.
Right. Don't worry. So, three's coming along. 4 is working on. So, like I said, it's been a little bit of a process because Joe is he's been dealing with a bunch of radio. He's had a bunch of radio stuff he's had to deal with too.
Oh, so you're blaming Joe? Okay.
No, it's not Joe. I mean, like he's getting me the stuff when he gets it to me. I talk to him and find out where things are going along. I'll give him a call. Maybe once, twice a week. Just checking in on him, make sure everything's good, and see where everything is. And that's been the biggest thing. He also had to recently. It was making sound effects because the sound effects that he found weren't working.
Yeah, I will say we are 4 weeks away from premiere, so it is set. Just so the audience is aware, episode 1 is up and loaded, ready to go.
Yeah,
it is. It's there. It is. It has the release date set.
So we're gonna be jamming on these other ones. I mean, like I said, I sent he has a proposed final for 3. I know that I actually have to re-record a line tomorrow. Matter of fact, we found out we were listening to it and there's a continuity error. So we found out that, and I was like, yo, is this a script thing or was this a me thing? And it was a script thing. So luckily I don't know why. I guess because I hadn't heard it all and really processed it, but that was so we have to just go in and just get a quick line read, and we'll get that done tomorrow afternoon, and that's all set up to do, and we will get that in, and episode 3 should be done. 4 I believe 4 should be worked on, and then we'll be heading into the we have one more episode, and then we'll be heading into the back half of the season. So,
well, for those of you that want to be there on day 1, ready to go over to oakbridgeseries.podbean.com. Subscribe. Yep. It is ready to go.
So
episode 1 will release, and I can tell you right now exactly when it will release. It will be at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Friday, June 21st.
Yep.
2024.
Yep. So that's exciting. Yeah, we're not doing radio. We're not doing radio with this one. The only reason we're not doing radio for this one is because some of the language is a little questionable at times. We actually have a warning on some of our stuff. So on the website. So
yeah, as I was I asked Ashley, the creator, to provide me with, episode synopses, so to speak.
Yeah.
And, she did.
She added that on there.
But yeah, it's interesting because the episode synopses are very, very brief.
Very.
So you've seen them already, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So just so the audience is aware, because I feel comfortable going ahead and sharing this. So the general synopses of the show, just to put it out there for Oak Bridge, the truth is never finished. Oak Bridge is a sci-fi, thriller, mystery, horror, audio drama series set in the early 1990s that centers around mysterious occurrences that plague a small town in Ohio after the U.S. government erects a nuclear power facility. When two teenagers are found dead, Sheriff's Deputy Jack Harris launches an investigation that will uncover dark secrets which will put everyone's lives in danger. With the help of his friends, a rookie cop, an ailing sheriff, a group of kids and teenagers, and even his ex wife, Deputy Harris will discover the dark underworld of government conspiracies, small town corruption, and in the process will face his demons past, present, and future.
Yeah.
So that is the brief description for the series, and episode 1, the description, the brief synopses, very brief. 2 teenagers are murdered by a mysterious entity.
I love it.
Yeah, brief as hail.
Hail.
So, I desperately need that trailer, James, and here's why. Podbean, they're great. I love Podbean that it will allow us to, in essence, be a one-stop shop, push out to all the other places that we need to push out to.
Right.
But the thing is, they won't let me push out to anywhere else until we've actually published our first episode, which could be a trailer.
Okay, then I will. Okay, so I'll give. I have to give Joe a call tomorrow anyways, because I have to let him know when we're done with the recording session. So it's available, and then I will ask about that and let him know that we need to get that out.
And of course, we do have Jimmy Jones. Boom, check it in. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you and Ashley are going to be heading over to the Pop Culture Kaboom.
Yeah, we'll be on the Pop Culture Kaboom here. I believe that is on the
16th.
16th, yes, that is the date.
June 16th. So Pop Culture Kaboom is a fantastic show if you're interested in the 7 pillars of pop culture. It is on from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
No, it's not. It's the 9th. We'll be on there on the 9th.
On the 9th of June?
That's what.
He brought you on too early. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah, June 9th. Yeah.
Not the week of.
Yeah, the week before.
Killing me, Jimmy. Yes, June 9th, you guys will be on there to. So Pop Culture Kaboom is on for, June 9th. Man, I'm going to be in studio that day.
Awesome.
It means I'm going to have to.
Yeah, I got a touchdown.
So
I scheduled my lunch. I'm scheduling my lunch on time so I can be on the show, man.
He'll have a fill-in. Yes. So what time is he having you on? Is it the 8 o'clock slot?
I believe so. Let me double check.
So that weekend is going to actually be very interesting because, as we just mentioned,
7 p.m.
On June 8th, we will be at Powerhouse Comic-Con.
Yeah.
So, and that was one of the things I wanted to talk about here. I kind of wanted to put you on blast a little bit. What is your plan for Powerhouse? When are you flying in?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm flying in. Hope it should be the day before. I think, the day before. I'm just trying to.
So do you actually have flights booked? Or?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to see if I can switch somebody days because that they didn't, for some reason they wouldn't give me the Friday. So I'm trying to see if I could take somebody's like Tuesday and they work my Friday or something. I'm trying to work that all out. Otherwise, I'm just going to call in sick. And I'm coming up.
Okay, so when is your flight on Friday?
In the morning, I believe. I don't remember the time. I'll let you know. But yeah, so either whatever it is. But then I'm actually going to come back with you to Reno, and I'm just going to leave out like the first flight on because I was going to leave out of Sacramento, and I was like, So I'm just going to leave out the first thing on Sunday morning.
So basically, what you're saying is Friday you fly in,
Yeah.
and then Saturday will be at Powerhouse.
Right.
Sunday morning you're going to fly back,
Right.
and Sunday evening you'll be on Pop Culture Kaboom.
That is correct.
Gotcha. Okay. That's clear now. And it looks like he's saying he has you scheduled for 7 p.m.
Yeah, that's what I said, 7 p.m.
So just for those of you that don't know, Pop Culture Kaboom is on from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Pacific, and that can be heard at KNBC 95.1 FM if you're in the local Northern Nevada area. And if you're not, go over to
KNBC.org.
Yes, and give a listen. Like, subscribe, and you know what? If you miss it live, 97 Now Productions produces the Pop Culture Kaboom podcast. So I've got some work to do there. I've actually fallen quite behind on getting those episodes produced and up, and I desperately apologize, Jimmy. I'm working on it. And Jimmy says, "Tell them you're having problems with your eyes. You can't see yourself doing your shift." AKA
what my buddy Tim Davis
I came down with a Cena-itis today.
No, he said he called it anal glaucoma. He said they said
anal glaucoma.
Yeah, anal glaucoma. He said I don't see my ass coming in today. I was like, yo.
I don't think he came up with that. I've heard.
I don't remember. Like, he's the first person I heard say it. So I was like, so.
No, it is a good joke.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I like the Cenitis because can't see me today.
See, that can't see me.
Yes. Okay, so for Powerhouse Comic Con, you're flying in Friday. You're gonna let me know when your flight is, because
I'll let you know.
Because otherwise, you're gonna be sitting at the airport.
Yeah, just waiting.
Because if I need to figure out, like, if I need to get off early from work, I can do that.
I mean, I can even. I don't have a key to your house. Never mind. I was like, I mean, just come to the house.
I can unlock the door for you. Or Jenny might be home that day, or there are other options. We can figure something out.
So yeah. But
I'd like to be available. So I didn't know you were flying in first thing in the morning.
No. I'm gonna try. That's the.
I can also work from home that day, potentially.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's the plan.
There are options. I just need to know.
If you would, I mean, I can. Do you need me to come in later? I can do that too.
You just said you had your flight booked.
That flight's it's easy to switch around.
I mean, I would like you here sooner than later, because I'm thinking we should actually drive down Friday and get a hotel somewhere in that area.
Okay, cool. Then okay. I'll get that. Then I'll keep. So it'll be in the morning.
So you'll send me your flight out information tonight.
I will send it to you because I'm getting that ticket through a buddy pass.
Yes. So when do you actually get that?
I'll have it. I'll get on that, and so hopefully I'll have it like by this weekend. Hopefully before this weekend, so I can actually have the flight information.
If you end up having to buy a flight, prices just keep going up. So
yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's the guy that I know. He's good for it. So it's not like I have to like, oh, hey man, come on. So I already, So anyway, but yeah, so that's Powerhouse Comic Con, and then or Powerhouse Comic Con, and then it's
Silver Age.
Yeah, and then I got those. I got those. I guess gotta get tickets for that.
July 13th, 14th.
And then
Nerds
United. That's in August.
Yep.
Okay. And then September 7th. Yeah, and I'm gonna be there like the whole entire week for.
Yeah, so we got another thing we got to talk about. So you're coming into town. Are we gonna do the rib cook-off?
I want to do the rib cook-off. I didn't plan on doing it.
Are we going to do a VIP table?
I mean, that's kind of. I know I'll be there this time. So I mean, but the thing is, I didn't know.
What about your people? Because like you've got Big Joe, you've got
and that's the thing is that I don't know. Let me call Rob.
Mercy.
Let me call Rob and see if he's got that. If he's got the hookup on that situation. If he does, then we can maybe just jump in on that. I'll ask him what day he plans on going, because hopefully, if it's a Saturday, because I know the Saturday I would like to go. so that then Sunday we can kind of chill, and then because I know we're supposed to do Pop Culture Kaboom that night on that week of, and then
And Jimmy, I'm just putting this on your radar now. September 1st, which is the Sunday before KaboomCon, that whole episode needs to be KaboomCon. We're not doing the 7 Pillars.
we're doing the 7 Pillars of KaboomCon.
Yes, KaboomCon, wall to wall.
But yeah, so so that's, I remember we talked about doing that. And then and then just kind of the rest of the week, just kind of hanging out and getting ready.
We'll do this live.
Yeah, doing in the
together.
same place, and then we'll do the con over the weekend. So yeah, this is gonna be, man, it's packed out.
Jimmy said KabukiCon.
KabukiCon. Why did I say that? Kabuki, like the Japanese art KabukiCon. Sheesh. I mean,
At least it's not Bukaki.
yes. Sheesh. Don't want to be up. I do not want to be at that con for sure.
Nope, absolutely
For
not.
Sure, don't want to be there.
Yeah, I want to know what KabukiCon is.
Hey, man, I mean, like, like the old Kabuki theaters, like in Japan and stuff.
So when do you? So KaboomCon is and Kaboom Crawler on September 7th, right?
Yeah.
So when do you go back? Do you go back on the 8th, or are you going to go back?
Yeah,
on
I
the
go back
9th,
on the
or-
8th.
Okay, so are you going to be out for the crawl?
Yeah.
You're going to be partying it up with the
Yeah,
folks
I
in
mean, I
person?
don't plan on getting my flight out of there until the like
Sunday night?
afternoon, like
Sunday.
Sunday afternoon, like early
And,
evening.
Jimmy's using text to text.
That's
That's what we call in the comedy industry.
Callback.
The callback, yes. Except he uses it every episode.
Yeah, that goes back, man. That was like weeks ago now, wasn't it?
Yeah, like it's okay to use a callback once in a while, but when you use it,
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
every week-
We're gonna have to call. We have to call Brian to find out where the hell Key's been.
Mr. Brian Allen Hobbs, our dam.
Yeah,
Yeah, is he coming to KaboomCon?
he should. He better bring the wife.
Yeah.
Load up the car. Bring your wife.
So
Come on down.
again,
on down to KaboomCon.
Get your tickets. Don't wait.
Do not wait. Get your tickets now.
50 plus vendors, artists and retail vendors, about a dozen food and beverage vendors.
Hopefully, my father's there. I told him to come.
It's going to be. It is the first ever comic convention in Carson City.
First time, baby, and it's our first con.
It's going to be a shindig, that's for sure.
Shinny, big.
Is he using his avatar?
Shandon.
Yeah, Shandon hasn't checked in tonight.
Yeah.
So that might be who Jeff is thinking of.
Yeah.
Not Brian. Brian is our OG. Brian is our dam.
Yeah, Brian's been there since the tippy top. Actually,
Yeah,
you know who else who hasn't been here for a long time? Steven Ashworth. He was one of our first, he was our first top member.
Yep.
Our top viewer and stuff. And so
someday I'm gonna actually release an episode of Magical Mouseketeers.
Oh yeah. I almost forgot about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, or I'm sorry, Magical Movie
Movie Cateers. That's what Mouseketeers. Yeah.
Yes,
Mouseketeers,
unfortunately, it's weird. So I don't know that we've ever actually talked about that on this show, but
no, we said something was coming, and then it just kind of
So the Magical Movie Cateers, the concept was me, you, and Brian, the three of us. We would review in order of release date the Disney films, the Disney animated films, and we would talk about how those animated films have correlated to the parks. We would talk about the history of those films, how they got produced, who was in them, who was involved. Just interesting, quirky stories. Trying to look at it from more of a analyzation.
It was not looking at it as just fans of the stuff, but looking at it from how it was how it was put together, where it came from, the original piece that it came from, things like that.
Yeah, and we got through, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 episodes actually.
Yeah, I think we got through about 4 or 5.
Where the problem was, the three of us, we would get onto a recording session and we would record, and weren't we actually doing live?
We were doing
we
live,
were watching the film,
watching
together,
movie, and doing live chat, or like live reactions,
commenting as the film was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And like to the point where we would say, okay, if you want to watch with us and sync up, 3, 2, 1, go, right?
Yeah.
And so that, it was a lot of fun. We just, the post-production that was needed on that thing.
Yeah, we just didn't have that we don't have it.
I just didn't have the time, because, it was honestly like 3-4 hours of content that really needed to be boiled down to, an hour.
Yeah, I had a friend doing it, but it just like they had to cut so much of it because Brian just had
so much of you, man, was just
but Brian had a lot of information.
Yeah, well, and that was the other thing. I remember like trying to cut Snow White. So obviously, those who know, Snow White was the first animated, right? And like just going through that one, like Brian's segment was supposed to be like the history of like the story, and or kind of like the behind the scenes, not the history.
I had the history about it.
And so his segment, and we had talked about like each segment being around, like after editing, probably close to like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And Brian's segments would go on for close to an hour.
Over an hour. Yeah, it was like an hour plus.
And trying to cut those things down. And again, I'm not begrudging him.
No,
everything he had was good content.
Yeah, but it's just like, we got to cut this down. And it was like, but the problem is that even if you cut something, other things would be out of context. So it was like, what do you cut? Then we thought about having a like a Patreon or something where you could get the full unedited one.
Unedited, like raw,
just the raw unedited.
Unfortunately, it just never came to fruition. But I have all of the raw audio and everything.
Yeah, those are
someday maybe that'll get put together. And then he got married and decided to just like ghost us.
We just need to get another audio guy that's willing to do stuff for like, free.
Free 99 is best price.
Best price ever.
Yeah, somebody who just wants a production credit. And,
hey, if you are out there and you want a production credit and we'll
give you a percentage of the profits
that we might see.
Yeah, that may never come, but I will give you 30% of any profits that might come from Magical Movie Cateers.
So if you're out there, let us know. Contact us.
I am more than
Fat Black Connection Facebook page.
Well, the other thing that never came was the music. I had like reached out to a guy who was supposed to.
Oh yeah,
yeah, and we had some.
Yeah, we were supposed. To, we had another Disney.
Guy.
We had a Disney-esque opening.
Yeah, and then we had another guy that was supposed to put some music together for us as well, who didn't do jack squat. Oh, that's your brother.
Yeah, no, that's why I dropped. That's why we had the other guy, and that's because I knew, like, I was trying to get. He was a mess.
And to be clear, audience, I said brother, not brother. So,
well, because I mean, it
biological, literal, yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyways, but
well, you got anything? Last minute thoughts, concepts? Anything you want to share?
No, I've actually kind of dug these after dark things, man. I really like these Oak Bridge after dark. We need to do that. I think we need to do that with every show now.
I mean, it works, right? We're already doing this, so
it does. So I mean, like, and that's the nice thing is that these people, they were all available to come join us, and so that was exciting. So yeah.
So just as a reminder, next week for this show with the podcast within a podcast, we'll have Rachel Anderson and Ari Cafferata Jenkins.
Yeah.
So apparently brothers can't follow through. through THREW,
Oh,
not through THROUGH.
through. Okay, I got you.
Yeah,
All
like
right.
through a baseball.
Through.
Anyways, have a good night.
Yep. You too, man.
I'll catch you this weekend when you send me your flight information.
On the flip side.